Hi, this is Pedro Velasco of Roll2Roll Technologies. Today we're going to talk a little bit about our contrast sensing technology and how it works with our web guides. Typically, some of our customers come to us with very, very special situations. They might say, for example, oh, I want to guide this material, but they really don't know how to. How can we guide something that has gradients, that that has no line in it? Well, we have found a method of doing that. We can guide based on labels, on the edges of labels. We can guide based on features or contrast between colors, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We can even guide on labels that have irregular features, as long as we can find something that we can guide through. So today we're going to talk a little bit about each one of these features, how to go through our menu of applications for contrast sensing in web guiding applications. So when you go to the screen, you will see that there's a tool icon right there. And let's press on that tool icon. That tool icon will take us to another screen where you can see that we're on the sensing mode, right? Let's hit the tool icon on top again, and then we get the different, this is the screen where you will get all the different options for doing the contrast sensing. In this case, when it's red, it means that it's already set on a specific application. So now what we're going to do is, let's see all the different applications you can do. By hitting on that icon there, it will turn green and it will show all the different applications. Now, right now it's showing what we consider to be the most robust application. That is, it's actually seeing the border of both borders of a specific contrast. In this case, it can be a single color, but it's actually working on two principles. One, it's the color, and the second is the width of that line or that color. So as long as it sees that, it will continue to guide or follow that based on that. That is the most robust application we have for contrast sensing. However, the next most robust applications are actually the two on the end. In this case, when we hit it there, it just means that it's going to look at a contrast on a color that is represented right now by this orange bar. But it's looking at where that contrast begins from this side, right? And on the other side, it does the opposite, right? So in a second, we'll see all these applications and working, right? And the least robust, but it's still very useful, is this one, where it actually looks at two contrasts, and then it looks at where those two contrasts are actually occurring, okay? So once we select that, we can actually go with these two icons on top, we can actually select which one of those in a specific contrast setting, which one we will select. Now we'll show that in a little while when we do applications. So if I want to just set, I just hit this icon again, and now it's on this application, which is looking at a line that is caused by two different contrasts in there. Right? And then I just hit back on the home button and it takes me back to the original screen. So I'm now going to show you different applications with some materials that I have here. So for example, we can have an application where we have labels printed on a material, but as you can see, the labels only have this permanent edge, and on this side it has an irregular feature. So one application that we can do is we can actually tell the system to look for this edge right here. Now, this is one of the most interesting features of our sensors. Even though these are different colors and ingredients, we can still guide on this line right here. And even though there's a break in between, there's a special condition in our system where what it will do is, if it's in a guiding mode, as soon as it sees this break, it will actually lock the position of the web guide at that, and then once it sees the contrast again, then it will go back to guiding mode. So of course, if this is moving really fast, you can't really see when the web guide stops, when it locks in place, because it just keeps on guiding. That's one application. Another application we will talk about is this one. See, in this case we have something similar, but we have several options to guide from. We can actually guide with this in the middle, and we can use the most robust application, which is actually saying this is a bar right down the middle. Even though you see that there's a gradient there, because of the way our sensors and controls are made, the technology that we have, it actually looks at this as if this was a line of a constant width. So we'll see that application there. And of course, when we're talking about the lines, just the least robust, but it has a very good application in a case like this where you have orange and black. So we might want to guide on this transition between orange and black, okay? And we will look at that in a second as we do each one of these applications. So let's work with this application in particular. So in this case, we have an irregular feature on one side, but we do have a feature that is constant. It's just that there's a constant line that we can call it a line, and the width between here is also constant, but we can guide on this feature right here right now, which is the edge of all these labels, right? Remember what I mentioned before. If there's a break, the web guide would lock in position until it sees that material again, and it doesn't care really if the color changes. All it's looking for is this edge right here. So if I position the material right here on our sensor, one thing that we'll do is first, let's go back in the system, and let's go into the tool mode and go all the way back. I have already pre-selected, but let's say that we were here, we can actually do and select this one right here, which is the one that we like. It's looking from this side to the edge, right? And then I can tell it here by moving. Right now it's actually looking at the black surface up to the edge where it starts with white, but I don't want to guide there. I want to guide on the white on this edge right here. So I can move it, the position right there, and I can tell it, lock it there. And now it is locked. And then I go back in my home program, and as you can see, this is the black material on the back. This is the black material on the back. This one here is this white up to the edge of the label, and this is the label. But as I move it, let's put it right here, say it's in the center, and as I move it, you'll see that once it loses the contrast, it'll lock in position. But you see, it keeps it all the way through, right? And that's what we're looking for. And you'll see a green line which actually tells you, in this case, it's actually looking at the place where this white between the labels, and it has locked in position there. So no matter what I do, as long as I keep it there, you see that the green line stays. But as soon as I move it, it picks it back up again. Now let's look at this application. In this case, we see that the best way of guiding with this material would be looking at what is constant. The only constant we have here that we're sure of is that the width between this feature here or this label and the other label. So it creates kind of like, we're going to call it like a white line, even though it has gradients, right? However, the width is constant throughout. So we're going to work on that one. Place the material right here, and then we're going to go into our menu, and then we're going to select the appropriate feature that we want. So we're going to do the one in the middle. Remember, I told you before that it is the most robust feature there is. However, I do have to pick which one I'm looking at. I know it's this one right in the middle, which is the white space between the two labels. So I can select it right there, and then I say, let's pick that, and it is set. When I go back to my main menu, as you can see, the green says that is right in the middle. And as I move it around, you see how it follows the material based on that. But notice that when it loses it, it locks in position until it finds it again. That is one of the main features of our system, right? Now, in this case, we want to do something very interesting. We might have a feature which is kind of hard to detect. In this case, we have orange and black. We want to guide by the line that is created between that transition from orange and black. So what we do is, we go back in our menu, right? And then we pick which one we want. And we're going to pick this one right here. Now, here's something very interesting. Once I have picked it, I have to select it right through here. So what I know is, right now the transition, this bar right here is the orange, this is the black, this is the white. And I can move it around. I can say, pick on this one or pick on that one, right? But I want to do this one, which is a transition. As you'll see a green light or a green line that goes around the two features, right? And it's going to be right in the middle there where the transition occurs. Because I picked that one, which is right in the middle here, I can go back in my menu, and you can see right there where the green line is right where the black and orange meet, right? Now, what is so special about this feature is that it will only look at where orange and black comes in that arrangement. Orange on this side, black on that side. And it will just follow that feature through. Right? And if it loses it, like before, it just locks in the last position. But then when it picks it back up, it keeps on going. Right? Now, I have another orange and black, but if I put that one there, see, it's not going to pick it up. It's not in the right orientation. Right? So that is one of the features, another feature that we have with this. So we hope that this information is of value to you. We know it should be. We're really interested in knowing any other applications you might think of. However, think of this. We have a web guiding technology that uses contrast sensing that can handle very difficult applications where the contrast is really has some very specific features such as gradients, maybe irregular features. As long as we can find something where we can guide from, we can provide you a good guiding system based on contrast. You can see more of this in other features that we have in our products by visiting our website, which is www.r2r.tech. Tech. Thank you.